Today we're going to dive into the mobile app / web version of campendium.com. So a lot of people have asked me, where do I go to look for campsites? Where do I find exactly what I'm looking for that falls into our price range and isn't necessarily like over inundated with campers, especially with the big shift towards camping. So today I'm going to show you where I find most of the places we decide or end up going via the Campendium website, and I give them a little plug right now. They do have a lot of the functions you're going to see today for free. I'm going to use a non-logged in account for you to see that, but then I'll also go over to my personal account so you can see the additional features that come with the pro membership, which I believe is like a nominal annual fee of like $15 or something like that a month. So maybe it's 24 now, I don't remember. But I find it totally worth it, especially to look at the reviews. And for when I am traveling, there's some additional features in there like cell signal strength that's reported by other campers. And I find it very, very worthwhile to have. The other piece to know about Campendium is most of the reviews and content about the various campsites you'll find are validated or entirely populated by the Campendium user base. So you'll see that as we go in. But today I'm just going to walk through a quick demo, show you exactly what here on Campendium, how to navigate the different features, how to see their recommended campsites, and then look specifically for whatever it is you're trying to find. For us, I'll give a use case that we used it for when we were going down to Florida. So we'll get started. The first thing about Campendium is you have a couple of different ways you can search. You can search the entire site for a place and location here at the top section, and you can do the same thing with this lower search menu down here below. The other thing to understand here is you can just tap use my location. It'll jump you directly to your location on the map. I'm actually going to back out of that. I'm in the Kansas City area, but I wanted to show you the one I was specifically looking for was Melbourne, Florida. So we were going down there to stay with family, so I'm going to throw in Melbourne here. And as I'm typing, it's going to start offering up some different options. Once I pause, and I'm going to select here in the center, Melbourne, Florida. Inside of the Melbourne, Florida search result, you will find a map that shows the stars exactly where the GPS Google Maps location for the center of the location you're looked for is, and additionally you'll see it now surrounded by various types of campgrounds and parking lots. There's also some dump stations available that you'll see with the example here, Mr. Pooh icon. Right, so I'm back up here a little bit, and I'm going to show you here basically how to navigate around the screen. The first thing you'll see is in the top right of the map, you have the layers section where you can select and switch over to satellite, or you have some additional coverage maps based on the third-party reporting on what coverage they have where. And then there's some additional public land maps that are pulled in with the Pro version. I'll show you those as well when I switch over to that account. And then here you can see we've switched to Google Satellites type map and navigation. The other thing to notice here, I'm going to switch back to default because it's just faster with my mobile phone and I'm not using Wi-Fi right now. The second function down here in the bottom right are these three ellipses. And in those three ellipses, I have some options to select. Showing here, it shows 11 locations for Melbourne camping. That three ellipses line is the list view, and I can switch back over to the map view by just tapping the map icon in that same spot. Additionally, I can filter my favorites by selecting the heart icon here, and it will only show my favorites, which again I don't have turned on. So how do I go about searching for my site locations and what I'm looking for? Just above the three dots, a little bit hidden there in the web app, there's the filters. And in this option, I'm going to just scroll through what the various selections are for the filtering. You can see here, you can exclude temporarily closed locations. The second thing here is the category. So public lands would be your municipal, state, county, federal parks managed by any government organization. An RV park will be a private organization. Overnight RV parking is going to be something like Walmart parking lot, any of the rest areas that allow for that, or Cracker Barrels and such, those places that are pro camper, allowing you to overnight or boondock while you're on the road. And then the final one is dump stations. If you're just looking for, planning your route out, I know I'm heading from point A to point B, what dump stations are available that have been reported within the app. Again, this is limited to whatever has been reported to the app itself. There's not some exhaustive library out there for all of these things necessarily. So if there's something you're not seeing in one of these doesn't mean it doesn't necessarily exist at all. There's some other resources we'll go over in the future. So without further ado, we'll scroll down, we'll look at these other filters. You can see here there's pricing. There is online booking reservation statuses. Again, not every site that actually has online booking may show up in that filter, so just be cognizant of that. For hookups, no, this is not some type of dating app functionality. This is for campers to know whether they want to have full hookups, including water and sewer. Partial is one or the other, and none is exactly as it says. And then if it has electric, that's the other one. So for full, it's electric, water, and sewer. For partial is any one or two of those three. And then no hookups or boondocking is where you'd select none. And then you can actually limit the electric capacity based on whether your camper can accept 30 or 50 amps. We have a 30 amp camper, so before I had my 50 amp converter, I was using that, but you can also buy converters that allow you to plug 30 amp campers into a 50 amp by reducing that power throughput. Not always the best option, but I have yet to go somewhere that we haven't been able to find a 30 amp plug-in. And then again, see the additional filters. You can see here it says become a member to use these filters. We have self-services, we have elevations, there's policies that you can turn on, right? Whether pets are okay, adults only and such, senior campgrounds, discount clubs that accept discounts based on your status or a membership of any of these clubs. There's some recreational functions, so you can see, like for the KOAs or those more facility-driven campgrounds, if any of that stuff is available, same with facilities. And then the final we'll look at here is categories, and this is a lot of the different types of national park or federal controlled, maintained, Army Corps of Engineers, Bureau of Land Management, right, state level authorities and military grounds. All of those things are options that you can select and filter. So my biggest one that I use is generally I look for public lands because one, they're normally cheaper. Two, they aren't trying to pack campers right on top of each other usually because they're not trying to go for revenue generation. So their return on investment per square foot of camper is not their main concern. Generally, they are electric and water, and probably 10 to 20% of the sites I've seen have had a sewer option. So I always go with public land if that's available, and that's where I'm generally going to start. So I'm going to turn on that, and then I'm going to search by that filter. Get back over here and see my one location. And yeah, this was literally the output that we had when we were looking before. I'll give it a second to refresh here. Boy, this is slow. And you can see here, finally this came up. We have one location here in the northern part of Melbourne. And when we zoom in here, we can see Wickham Park Campground, 5-star review on the county park of Melbourne itself. We had a great time staying there, and it actually worked out really perfect for us. So I'm going to jump into Wickham Park by tapping on the label of the campground itself. And here I've got some different options. I can tap on the photos and view all 41 photos that have been uploaded by everybody. I can switch over to the official website by tapping the website logo, the official website link here. I can write a review myself, which I am going to go back and do here shortly. And I can tap on GPS, and by tapping the GPS, it's automatically going to open up, as you can see here, in Google Maps, whatever your default map application is. If you don't have a default, it will prompt you accordingly. But here it is coming up in Google Maps now. It should drop me exactly on that latitude and longitude location. And here we go. So there we are, Wickham Park Community Center to the bottom left, and there is the campground. I'm going to switch back over now. Back to Campendium, and here in Campendium you can continue to scroll down and you can start looking at the most important things for me: the reviews, the overview, the QA, questions and answers that have been provided for campgrounds by campers, the cell information, and then any amenities listed. And you notice there are ads that pop up. Obviously I'm on the free version here, and those are going to continue to plague us until I either switch over or just deal with them. But I'm sorry, looking at the overview, you can see what the last price paid by somebody reported on which date for one night. You can see what the longest RV reported for that space. And again, all the information down below just gives you kind of the demographic of the campground itself. As you continue to scroll down past the ads here, there's no Q&A in here, but if someone had asked something like, is it actually dog friendly, or is the dog park, what's the dog park like, someone has the option to come in and respond to those questions as they have been asked. And you can see here that 10 people have reviewed this location, and we get our overall ratings. Here it's got 5 stars across the board minus site quality, which was at 4. and the cell phone coverage down below, you can actually see, oh wow, that's actually part of the free version now. You can see that the number of users on what date it was last reported for what strength. And as I continue to scroll down, I will get into the actual reviews themselves, and you can read through those. So if you get past the review section, or you tap in the top right corner, you can see amenities. These are the actual amenities reported for this campground. If you do have anything that you see that doesn't quite reflect reality, you can tap down on the help logo on the bottom left and actually go report that information to Campendium, and they can clean up the amenities lists. So again, that's just a highlight of how this application works, how their web app search works on the mobile platform, and yeah, it's coming very handy for us. I guess the other thing I promised is I was going to sign in here, so let me get into that real quick. Maybe. I don't think I'm going to be doing anything quick here. Here we go. Log in and sign up. And we're over here at the Rugged. And with that, we're going to jump back into Wickham Park itself. Oh, that's the other thing. You can type a location, you can type in a park, you can type in any of these options here. And there's our Wickham Park Campground, Florida. And we'll jump right into there. So now you'll notice I have no ads. You can see all the information I saw before. I can click on here and view the campground map or the GPS map, whichever ones are provided. And then jumping a little bit further down, I wanted to show the last thing I forgot to mention, other nearby sites. So if you find that this one does not have the availability you need, by going to the direct link to the website itself for the campground, you can scroll down to the bottom and see these other nearby ones that may provide some other alternative options quickly without having to finagle your way through the map. And the last feature I'll show is I'm clicking on the official website link, and you'll see here the Wickham Park campground description directly from Brevard County, Florida, which is where this campground is maintained. So you can get some additional information here, and if you want to make reservations, you can make those right here through this web application based on availability. So we'll get further down here, and yeah, here's the campground section. And then for Wickham Park, campground and amenities will have its own links to the campgrounds themselves. So hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, contact@theruggednerd.com. And yeah, looking forward to getting your feedback. If you have any questions about Campendium, other campsites that we've been at, check out our blog, check out these other videos that'll be coming out on YouTube, and stick with us. All right, thanks everybody.